There we are. Greetings, dear ones. Happy April 15th, Friday. This is April 15th, Friday. It is such a powerful time. I have experienced so much this week, as have most of my clients. I'm sure you have as well. Um, we started off the week, actually the weekend, because the energetics of a particular planetary alignment or a collective experience or some other helpers, forces, anything that's going on, and particularly when it's in regard to the planets, happens, we're feeling the energy of it a few days leading into it, and then a few days or longer thereafter. And this entire month of April, many astrologers have been looking toward for a long time, this entire year, as a matter of fact, because of the particular positioning of the planets that is a huge opportunity for the Earth to come into a completely new way. And we're in that mix right now in a very, very strong way. Those of you who had the opportunity to attend Monday night's Cosmic Conjunction groundwork gathering in preparation for Tuesday, which was the planetary alignment of Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. Now, there are a lot of other planetary influence as well, but this particular conjunction is like I used the example the other day of like a rocket taking off and a starting up of huge waves of spiritual awareness, connection, awakening of psychic abilities, being able to communicate and hear and commune with animals, insect. I'm not talking about just your pets, but wildlife. Um, I had several clients this week having encounters with wildlife, and so very powerful. A very dear friend of mine and colleague goes out for a daily walk. She happens to be in Colorado at this time, and on her walks for 3 days in a row, there was a fox, and this is the daytime. And at one point, one fox was looking so directly at her that she was compelled to stop, and they stared at one another and communed. And she said that ultimately tears were running down her face because, she's very aware, she's a healer, she knows, but this was a completely different encounter with spirit, with the teacher of fox, and it very, very evidently coming to her to teach her, to gift her. And again, those of you who were with me or have listened to any of the posts know that fox was very, very prevalent at around the conjunction on Tuesday, not just because it was showing up for my friend, but in multiple other ways and through other people and sources. And fox is about magic and bringing forth the what is seen, what is unseen, with camouflage. It represents camouflage. And again, we have a lot of different planetary influences that are allowing for that which is hidden and in shadow and in darkness, whether it's in our individual lives and more so even in our cultures, the world. There's almost no place to hide, which is very interesting why this animal is coming forth. And yet we also had the crab and different animals that are able to go in their shell and hide, and we can't anymore. We're in the throes of the evolutionary leap that I've been sharing with you about for several years. And actually about 5 years I've been advising everyone that we're in the midst of it. And during the previous several years, 3, 4, 5 years, it has felt like we were going backwards, when in fact, all of that tumult and the chaos and the ugliness and the pain and suffering of the earth and many others has been revealed, and it's going to be even more so. What is, like financial wheelings and dealings, people, hiding things, putting on appearances, and that being revealed as an act and as an appearance. We've got a wonderful opportunity to look at our own darker places, our own hidden feelings and experiences that as children were too difficult to deal with, but now with the maturity and the intellect and the capacity of an adult, we can take them and transmute them, which is what their purpose is. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so let me back up. This is we're still in the energy of the cosmic conjunction from Tuesday, and it's leading us right into the very, very powerful holiday weekend, holy weekend. Today will be the first day at sunset, the first day of Passover, and that is an extremely profound experience of liberation. Whether you're Jewish or not, you can tap into that freedom, that ability to, as I was just saying, come out of the darkness and into a new way, a new life. And this is about being in slavery. We are enslaved by our emotions that are undealt with, unresolved, unfelt. And when we are able to truly go in, and that's what happens in sessions, in one-on-one sessions, because you have a defense system that has defaults to keep you from going in there on your own, and believes that it's too dangerous for you, into those traumas, into those pains, into those fears, into those furies, into that grief. And that's why, as a shaman, we are able to walk into those hells with you and bring you back out again safely and with more of you. And that's what clients experience all the time. At the end of a session, they have more of themselves. And that allows for the freedom and the sovereignty of self. That again, we have planetary assistance from, I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not going to try to name which ones, but I have listened to my resources from my astrology resources. And again, there's a lot of energy giving us that opportunity for freedom and sovereignty. And although there was and we're going through that Passover of destruction, that Passover of suffering, we no longer need live that way. We are not victims. We were victims as children, just as the Hebrew people were victims of the power of Egypt. And, that outer authority, that someone else determining your life, someone else deciding the laws and the rules for you. And we as children, again, have no choice. We are powerless. But as we mature, we take responsibility and are able to make that move out of someone else's decision making, out of outer authority, and bring that more to inner authority. And although the Jewish people were granted freedom, one must pack up one's things and take those steps, make the action towards freedom. So in that packing up, you have to decide, what are you going to take with you into the future? What are you going to leave behind? What is too burdensome or heavy? And so all of that energy is here for us today. And taking that and being able to put it into a place of magic and mysticism where your dreams can come true. I'm sure the Hebrew people were dreaming for centuries, as a matter of fact, of their freedom until it happened. So there is this active participation and choice. You can be granted freedom, the rules can change, and we can have people trying to take our freedom, such as we're seeing in Ukraine and Russia and many other places around the world. But it is up to us to stand in our right to be free and our right to choose. So there is this active participation and taking responsibility. And that becomes very difficult if we're still functioning from the programming of a child, the imprints of a child. And one of the animal teachers that have been very, very present this week, as a matter of fact, since the beginning of April, is the lamb. And the lamb represents many different things, but it's that tenderness and that innocence. And when we're young, as I said, we have no choice, but we do, this is a symbol for that ability to not succumb to or be victims of destruction. And that's why the lamb's blood was put on the lintel or the doorway, so that the destruction would be passed over that particular home. So we have this sense of protection as in our innocence and in our tenderness. But when that is not present in our child lives, then we are constantly in fear and in a position of being the victim. So we hold on, though, to the hope, to the wanting, to the expecting for our parents to do the right thing, or our bosses to do the right thing, or the government to do the right thing. And that isn't necessarily going to happen. We are the ones that have to decide that we are stepping out in that choice and going to make it happen for ourselves as individuals and for our planet. I had one of my clients this week, very interestingly, she was reading a book on child development, and they were talking about a particular experiment that was done to a tiny little kitten many years ago. And I won't go into the great details, but they placed it in a room painted with squares on the floor and the walls, and it was to actually see what it would do when its points of orientation were different. And it just, struck her so deeply as she was reading it. She broke down and was literally sick to her stomach. And as we were working in session, she realized that in her young life, her parents did not care about what was natural to her and her way of being, and she very much was forced to be in their reality, and hers was denied. And she's been working through that for many years, and in session she was able to realize that and decide that she no longer need be confined by someone else's reality, whether it was her parents or later on husband, etc., etc. And then I have another client this week who absolutely for many, many months or longer has refuse to give up that dream and that hope and that wanting of the child for the parent to do the right thing for them, to change and become what they're supposed to be. And as a result, she's in great pain and difficulty and distress in her life, in her marriage, in the way she's, treating her child. And so she's attempting to get into those deeper places in session to be able to let go of that hoping and wishing and dreaming. That's not the hoping and wishing and dreaming that we're talking about with this cosmic conjunction. This is something else entirely. And I encourage you still to write out your wishes. And when I'm talking about wishes, I'm not talking about intentions. I'm not talking about goals. I'm not talking about what you can kind of think could happen if you had some assistance or help. I'm talking about wildest dreams that you can imagine or beyond your imagining for yourself, for every area of your life, for the world. That we have cooperation and collaboration among governments for the benefit of people all around the world, that there is, economic equality in many ways. You can ask for the wildest things that you can imagine, as I said, even beyond imagining, and write them out as if they're already accomplished, and what you will feel like, what it will feel like to be in that experience of the accomplished wish or the granted wish. Remember, in the fairy tales, Cinderella didn't know how the pumpkin was going to become a carriage. It wasn't her job. All she did was wish for a way to get to the ball. And bippity boppity boo, the magic wand created it for her, dress and all. So allow that destructive wishing for people to change or something to become, someone to become something that they are not, and instead wish for your greater development, your expression of the essence of you. And of course, as we're leading into from Passover and this participation and choice and active taking of our freedom and letting go of the unmet dreams and hopes of a child, we're moving into Good Friday as well, which formally always has been about suffering and about torture and about pain, and pain being inflicted upon another, upon an innocent. And certainly we're seeing that in our world, in Ukraine and with Russia, with the Ukrainian war, and how many innocents have paid a horrible cost for someone's using their power over. And it has allowed us, however, this amazing and beautiful heart opening and compassion and feeling of another's suffering. Because if we just intellectually know about it, oh gee, that's a shame, and then on to the next thing. But if we're truly feeling this, whether it's a person, whether it's a plot of land, whether it's the Amazonian forest, whether it's the lessening of birds and bird song in our area, it is only until we feel these things that we can make another choice, whether it's a practical choice of supporting organizations, for the environment, or sending, help for the refugees in Ukraine or other places around the world, or working energetically. That also is very, very powerful. But it is only until we feel, and it's very, very difficult to feel the other or the earth if we don't feel ourselves. And that's the whole process of the work that I do with clients individually, is being able to feel into all of you and to be in your body without the previous suffering and pain and anguish. So we have an opportunity to either take an action or feel into and open our hearts, or no, like, I can't deal with that. That's just too much. I don't want to know about what's going on in Ukraine. I don't want to know about the earth. It hurts too bad. And interestingly, again, I had a beautiful and amazing client. All of my clients are beautiful and amazing. But this client's mother was in the process of transitioning, and she created such a beautiful environment and did so much healing, her family, her mother individually, and with different members of the family. I mean, it was a beautiful death. Realization that she, although we call it death, was simply moving from this reality into another reality. And when we allow ourselves to have that experience, whether, family member or, again, another client had to euthanize her kitty, but she spent an entire week loving and playing with the kitty and giving it everything that she could in a preparation for a beautiful crossing. And we have that excruciatingly clear evidence of that with the pain and suffering example of Jesus going to the cross and on the cross. And yet out of that comes another life, comes a life beyond this physical presentation. So a very, very strong evidence that it is not the end. And again, we have more planets with us right now, allowing us to experience our multi-existential selves, that there is more than just this dimension, this reality, and that we have an opportunity to tap into that, to really feel that. That's the entire end goal, if you will, of working with clients who are working on mastery, which most of my clients are, is to be able to incorporate the other realities of oneself, the other worlds or realms or dimensions that you are able to access and open, and then channel in the abilities, the skills, the knowledge from that other existence into this one, helping you to recreate this reality personally and planetarily. And that's what we're going to be doing in the 3-month program. It's actually called Personal and Planetary Redesign, for you to learn how to tap into those places within you and utilize those other existences to change this one, this reality. And again, we have so many planets helping us do that right now. So many different influences. The full moon as well. This is always about revealing, about shining light, about being able to see more clearly. Oftentimes, I'm sure you've experienced being able to be outside in the full moon and read a book, that it's so bright. Excuse me. And that shining a light or revealing is, again, going along with the planetary alignments. All of the that which has been unseen is coming forward, coming to light. So it's such an exciting time. I know I'm speaking a lot about many, many different things, but that is what's going on. We have this movement, and rapid time is another factor right now. Everything's moving very, very quickly. If you thought it was before, get ready for the ride now. So we're, in this realization of we can choose either the old way or the new way, and that the potentials have always been there. There's a beautiful piece in one of the Emmett Fox books where, he points out that, the Romans could have actually had cars. All of the tools, all of the materials were here on the planet, but the awareness and the knowledge, or the that's beyond what I can imagine, beyond what I can see. And everything is here. We have all the opportunities. Science every single day is coming forth with new opportunities to deal with the damage that has done, new opportunities for farming, for distribution, and again, food supply right now. Are we going to go more towards the old way of GMO and using chemicals on our foods, or are we going to choose, to buy our things from organic sources or local sources, or even planting our own vegetable gardens? So it's every moment is a choice. Am I going to buy a bottled water that I know is going to go into a big pile and continues to harm our environment and even ourselves? This week, it was evident in many different science sources. They have found microplastics in our lungs, in human lungs. So again, this material that comes from fossil fuels, that is a dead end game. We're seeing rapid changes and new choices being made by countries in as far as their energy sources are concerned. So they're not being held captive or blackmailed by some outer authority that determines whether they have heat and fuel to work and run their industries. So again, these choices that we're making on an individual basis, on a global basis, in order to create the new reality that we wish for, that we want. And I encourage everyone to, if you haven't seen the movie Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds, I know this sounds silly, but it is a beautiful metaphor for exactly all that I've been speaking about and all that is coming. I'm not going to, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to ruin it for you, because those of you who have listened to me, this work before, know that I'm a movie buff for sure, and that there is great information and transmissions that come through the art of movies. And books, of course, as well, but I give movies as homework. So your homework is to watch Free Guy. And it's a movie that it takes place in and about a video game. And those of you who are unfamiliar with video games, there are NPCs, which are non-player characters. They're kind of background, or they are victims of what the players decide they want to do. And in this particular movie, and it probably lets you see that in a trailer, so I'm not ruining it for you, but the character is a non-playing character, and something happens and that changes entirely, and he has a completely different ability to see his world, to function in his world, and to choose what he wants to do with his world, and ultimately where that leads him, what it leads him to. So that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to ruin the movie. It's beautiful, not only metaphor, but it's a fun movie, and I encourage you to watch it, enjoy it, and get the symbolism of it and the metaphor. but also maybe even watch it again and feel yourself as the title character and previously being, under the authority of others and not being able to do what you want in your life and have your life the way you would like it to be. And so, not only in placing those wishes in wishing box or wishing pot or wishing bowl this week, but taking all of this energy, and we're going to drop in about a minute, and we're going to feel and be kind of moved and placed and relocated within ourselves and within this container so that you can benefit from all the energies that are here. And I encourage you to feel yourself like this main character in Free Guy, that you now, with these energies of the cosmic conjunction, with the symbolism and the power of the full moon and the Passover and Good Friday and moving from slavery to freedom and moving from that innocence and tenderness and vulnerability into the decision to let go of those, of changing others, of making others be something that they're not, and instead placing your wishes for yourself and feeling them completed. What you'll experience. I didn't mention we also have, of course, the butterfly this week, and today in particular. And of course, that butterfly represents transmutation of one thing into another. It's not like if you read about it's not a worm, the caterpillar. If you read about the caterpillar, the process is not a caterpillar changing into a butterfly. The caterpillar ceases to be. The DNA actually changes, and a new thing, the butterfly, a new insect, is then comes forth from the cocoon. So it's extremely powerful. The butterfly has always represented the soul and the movement from, one transformation from one thing into another, of course. But it's also about awareness of your immortality and awareness of your multi-existential self. And, in Greek, psyche and soul psyche is the same word for soul and butterfly. So we have all of this power, and this is going to be going on for weeks. But I encourage you to take an opportunity this weekend to really feel into them. Take some time to be quiet and to allow yourself to drop into those wildest dreams and wishes and write them out and feel into the knowledge that you can create this reality, and you can move from being a non-player character into being a player. And the more you have of yourself, the more power and ability you have to redesign your life and this world. So all of that is here in this container. And you know that we work alchemically, so it's not only all the wondrous and positive and beautiful influences and the fine high vibration of spirit and psychic awareness and soul sensation that this time is bringing forth, but also the pain and the suffering and the slavery and the darkness within us and within authority figures and their purposes and designs. That's all in the mix, because you cannot have one without the other. And when that mix happens, that's when magic occurs. So sit deeply in your chair. Allow yourself to feel your sits bones and feel your physical body. And it oftentimes it you really do need to actually rub your hands over your entire body, from your head, your forehead, around your head, your neck, your ears, your collarbone. Follow that around to your shoulders, the back of your neck, the base of your skull, where your neck meets your shoulders and your back, and rub that or feel that, and or even use your nails a little bit. You want to bring awareness to it. Your chest, even if you tap it, tap all over your body, whatever feels comfortable, rubbing it. The idea of being in your body to be able to explore your inner universe as you sit in this container with all of the ingredients, all of the factors, all of the influences, planetarily, culturally, spiritually, religiously, symbolically, metaphorically. All of that is sitting in this container. Continue to rub or pat or aware or feeling your body so that you can come down within it, because it's such a more expansive experience than perhaps you're used to, of going up and out through your third eye into a higher mind, which is wonderful, but it is limited in its frequencies. Whereas within you lies your entire universe, and your wider self, which is your soul self, and your energy field know exactly how to take you down and within yourself for your optimum experience. For you to be in a feeling, sensating experience of yourself through this physical vessel, through this vehicle that you've chosen to experience this reality. But down and in and through this vehicle is where you travel, or how you travel. The entire universe within you is available to you. And again, knowing that your wider self, the wisdom, the inner wisdom of you, is what directs and leads your way. You need do nothing. And that oftentimes is the most difficult of all, is the allowing. This is your energy field, your soul self, your wider self, your guides and teachers and masters that are assisting you and taking you down and within you. I am not dictating. I am not imposing upon you what you should experience, which is why I never do guided meditations, but instead hold and create through sacred geometry an exquisitely safe and secure container within which you can sit and let go and allow your soul self, your wider self, your guides and teachers and masters, your energy field to take you down and inside your inner world and even your inner verse. So I will continue to speak, perhaps channel. Definitely I am transmitting all the different energetics that I've spoken about and that are here this week for us. All of the helpers, planetary helpers, teachers, the animal teachers, lamb, butterfly, Neptune, Jupiter in Pisces, and so many other planets. Other divine helpers, Moses, the full moon, the teacher Jesus, the many scientific discoveries and knowledge coming forth in the moment, day by day, giving us opportunities for a new way of being with the earth, with our food, with our air, with our water, with energy. The fire being represented by the sun. So many powerful sun ejections this week. Allowing the northern lights to come as far down as New York and Chicago earlier in the week in this country. Making us aware that it is only that beautifully fragile ozone or electromagnetic web around our planet that protects us from the radiation of our powerful sun. Allow yourself to sink ever more deeply down and within. Where there is a knowing, not on a brain level, but on a deep soul level of your immortality, your multi-dimensional, multi-existential self. The countless existences that you have had as a soul in this universe. Consciousness creates, but that consciousness is colored by your feelings. And when we numb ourselves and close off to that which seems painful or scary, it minimizes the energy with which you can create. You may be particularly if you're a sensitive, you may be aware of the energies moving and or pulsing, or you may experience great heat in your body or somewhere within. There's still been some prep work going on as far as placing each one who is either listening to this live or will at some point in future. It is known, and your exact right positioning and location within this sacred geometric configuration, and all that you bring to this container, humanly, energetically, your guides, teachers, masters, helpers, all of that is part of this unique sacred geometric container of this moment, this day. That never before and never will again be exactly you may experience the energies deepening at this point. Again, keep softening that forehead and third eye, and instead of going out, go within. And you need not effort, you need not work, you need not push, you need not know anything. Simply allow and trust your energy field, your wider self, your guides and teachers and masters to lead you, guide you. You don't have to track anything, you don't have to see anything. As a matter of fact, if you are seeing in your mind's eye or some other visioning, that means that your energy is up and potentially out rather than down and in. Feel physically, energetically. And if you feel nothing at all and simply seem to be drifting off into sleep, that is exactly what is right for you at this point in time. You need not follow my words. I'm simply allowing my voice to transmit and amplify all that is here and available to you, for you, from you, experience another dropping to a deeper state. And if you are nodding off, that's perfect for you right now. Maybe you're just feeling the edges of you become less defined. Perhaps you are sensating energy and movement inside your body. Or physical sensations. There is no one way. Deeply you allow yourself to drop down and in, ever more down and in. Alchemically mixing and combining and friction between and among them. Allowing for the ideal. That which is just right for you and you alone. Because this is a container, a quantum-like container. Each individual is unique. Again, nothing to do, no work, no effort, nothing to focus on. Simply allow, simply feel, simply drop, softening. Letting go of any push, pull, goal, work, trusting your energy field, your wider self, your guides and teachers and masters. They know exactly the ideal experience for you at this point in time. Rest in the knowing that your soul knows exactly what it is doing. Still feeling experiencing a shifting in the energetics, different experience in your body or your energy field. As the integration process begins to happen. Simply feel, simply sensate, simply experience your unique and very organic process Each person has a different way. Do not let your mind dictate how you move from this less physical experience back to a more physical experience. Follow the lead. Sensate your way. For some people it feels like spiraling back. For some people it's an experience of just floating upward or in any direction. For some people, it's just little by little feeling their physical body more. But this process of integration and return is rich with gifts, symbols, information, words, but moreover, that in-between place where you feel yourself both human and spirit or energy. And that is a priceless place, a priceless experience. For the more you sensate that in between, the more you and more easily you're able to live in that in between and constantly, physically, energetically, emotionally, spiritually aware of your multi-existence. So do take your time. If you would like to stay in this space, in this container, you are welcome to do so, knowing that you will be perfectly integrated whenever you choose to re-physicalize. Be it in 10 minutes, 10 seconds, or 10, if you're not listening to this, for 10 months, or even years. Time as we know it does not exist in these planes of existence. So trust that you will be perfectly integrated and able to go on about your day whenever you choose to come back from this experience. Please make sure and share some of your wishes that you've written this week in the Applied Universal Alchemy group. It's not only powerful for you to publish them, but also for others to benefit from and spark and feel your sensations of accomplished wish. And that's how you want to write it out, as if it was already done. And again, let me know what you experienced in watching Free Guy. And how you feel that applies to your life, or how you can apply it to your life. And if you'd like me in any way to help you word or adjust the wording a bit to your wishes so that it is in this energetic form for it to occur magically and miraculously, or rather magically and quickly, then please feel free to do so. Direct message me or what have you. And if you'd like to really transmute some of these pieces within, allowing you more freedom to design your life, please let me know. And keep an eye out for information about the Personal and Planetary Redesign Group. There's going to be another start for that 3-month process. And enjoy this powerful, powerful time. Beautiful full moon. And as always, know that it is with the deepest of gratitude, honor, and love for your presence here on the planet. Until next time, be well. Bye-bye.